and welcome to Signature Secrets. Today we're going to be looking at the handwriting of Melania Trump with a bit of analysis on her relationship with Donald and even her son Barron. But before we get into the analysis, I wanted to comment just a bit on some of the comments I've gotten. I think some of you object to the fact that I highlight the positives or the good in people. As a psychologist, I think it's really important to validate other people whenever possible. We can all use validation, and we can all use a little bit of bringing up, right? If my analyses to people are too negative, they're just going to get down. If they're irritable, they'll become more irritable. If they're hostile, or even if they don't trust other people, that's sure not going to help them, right? But if they feel better about themselves, if they're validated, usually that helps people feel more optimistic. They're going to be more trusting, let other people in a bit to support them. So, my job here isn't to add to the divisiveness, which it's rampant right now, but maybe to lend understanding, which graphology is so good. We can understand why the behavior, why we communicate as we do, what motivates us. So let's take a look at Melania's signature first. What's remarkable about Melania is that not only is she physically beautiful, which we can all see, we can see in her writing her high intelligence, as shown by the needle-like points. This lady is very smart. She's more than capable of matching wits with her husband. When she needs to identify as Mrs. Trump or the First Lady or former First Lady, she's highly perceptive, thinks quickly, and is goal-oriented. She's assertive and energetic. She's out to show people that she's very much like her husband. But is she really? For that, we look at the body of her writing. We can see in her writing resourcefulness as seen in the figure 8. She's logical and slows down her thinking and acting to reason things out. She's organized and reliable. Her margins are even yet flexible. That means she moves easily within her surroundings, whatever they are. I heard a newscaster accuse Melania of taking advantage of Trump supporters, and was so glad I was weighing in with what her handwriting says about her. A lot of people have assumed that Melania's motivation has been about money. The openness and spacing of the letter formations show there's no greed evident in her writing, but there is logic, reason, and planning, along with resourcefulness. The M's and N's are rounded, showing a nurturing, protective nature. The roundedness is often shown in women or men who value their roles as mothers, teachers, nurses, or doctors. They care for others. And the proof is in the pudding. The consistency of his writing shows that Barron is a reasonable, self-disciplined, and loyal young man, but one who can think independently. I imagine much of this temperament is due to his mother's presence in his life. It's possible that Melania has kept up with the marriage for the sake of her son. Perhaps not so much for herself. It appears their life has always been about putting his needs above her own. Just for you younger people, many years ago, often women did put their own needs down to advance their husband, and I believe many women still do this. It was a way to provide stability and a nice lifestyle for yourself and your kids. A long time ago, 30 years, it was a bestseller. It was on Oprah, devoted to women who wanted to get married in the worst way. And it gave them specific rules on what to do to catch a husband. It actually told you to always wear makeup, dress nicely, and even how many times to let the phone ring before you pick it up. And it worked. Lots of women read the book and did get married. Melania played by the rules. I'm sure she didn't read that book because she had her own mind, but she was playing by the rules. And she did get what she wanted for the time. She just didn't know what she was signing up for long term. Donald Trump's resentment will keep him to himself. He's not one to apologize to anyone. He's got his defenses up so high, it's unlikely he can trust anyone. Too bad, as Melania was a good pick for him. If you've watched my other videos on couples or right for each other, you'll know that similarity equals compatibility in my book. Look at these two signatures. They're so much alike. Both of them, though, seem to be hiding the same thing. They're more vulnerable selves. They both put up a front, showing the world they just can't be hurt. And interestingly, like Donald, her signature has changed over the last several years. Looking at her signature from 2005, the basics of form and slant are similar to Donald's, and now it matches even more. Like his, Melania's has gotten more angular over time, showing they've become more distrustful of others, which could even include each other. Her writing points out that she can change, and will, in midstream. Apparently, she just wrote a memoir, and I believe it's going to be an interesting read. I also think this could be a hint of finally acting as her own person. She evidently got paid for a talk. She just gave for a couple $100,000. I think she'll get out of this mess in one piece. Melania can change, and she could forgive Donald, but Donald can't forgive. And he's changed more and more into an isolated man who is often solely interested in defending his own ego, which you can see in the rigidity. It looks like fences up around him. I have a feeling he's got pretty positive feelings for Melania. As long as he respects and trusts her, she'll be a great partner for him, and she has been. But when you're continually humiliated in front of the public, your son, who you love and would sacrifice anything for, suddenly turns 18. You're beautiful, resourceful, and confident enough to make it on your own. And you've started proving to yourself that you can do just that. Handwriting analysis cannot predict the future. But now that our culture is changing a bit, Melania can leave. And the logical choice would be that she would. Melania may be a last vestige of hope of happiness for Donald Trump. She is loyal, and due to helpful, caretaking nature, she might just continue the relationship. If not as a wife, as a partner or friend, but most likely as a co-parent of Barron. It's a hopeful sentiment for him. Melania will be fine by herself. Yep, she put her husband first a lot. But now, due to this long-winded descriptive context, we might be able to understand her in that light a bit more. I have a feeling some viewers are going to be a bit judgmental on this one. But let's keep an open mind, and in the same framework graphologists practice, try to see the good in people's behavior. So on that note, I'd love if you join our community and subscribe. Thanks, and see you next time.